In Tokyo City of Japan, the high school girls are suddenly assaulted by a mysterious creature. Out of many killer attacks, only one girl survives, who later appears in an interview to reveal the details of the incident. Soon after the interview, the rumor spread that all the previous attacks on young girls were the work of a vampire. In order to find the truth, a truth-measuring show is conducted where some popular people of the city are invited. Out of 5 guests, 1 believes in the existence of vampires, while the remaining deny, claiming vampires are fictional creatures. After receiving judges' reviews, the anchor persons decide to have audience comments. For this sake, the anchor approaches a young Romanian girl and demands her opinion on the matter, while the Romanian girl makes everyone rethink the existence of vampires, claiming judges have no evidence to deny vampires' presence. It is then revealed that when the show anchors were searching for the evidence of the last vampire attack, they got a mysterious call from someone who claimed to be a Vampire Queen's server. She also revealed that the girl in the vampire attack was saved on the Queen's order, since Queen cares about humans. Following the call, anchors reach the Vampire Queen's palace and invite her over to the show to unravel the truth. Veratos, the claiming Vampire Queen, appears on the show along with a preserved vampire hand of the vampire, who was involved in the previous serial killing cases. She keeps on saying that the vampire who killed innocent young girls was nothing other than garbage. Veratos' words infuriate Hirai, and he discloses his true identity as a vampire. Hirai takes his arm back, attaches it to his body, and transforms into the real vampire form. The show's goal finally accomplishes after the vampires expose their presence. Hirai jumps onto the roof, where he encounters the little girl who previously entered the argument from the audience. The girl finally introduces herself as Mina, the actual Vampire Queen, who then easily kills Hirai for disobeying the vampire law of attacking humans. After the situation settles, Mina declares Tokyo Land Reclamation No. 0 as the new kingdom of vampires with the name Vampire Bund. Vampires reveal their presence for the first time ever and establish their dominion under the leadership of the pure-blooded Vampire Queen. Soon the news of vampires' existence and the foundation of Vampire Bund spread throughout the country. Vampires have become a popular topic among school students, but every time the subject is brought up, one of the students, Akira, becomes upset and exits the conversation to avoid it. Our protagonist, Akira, is suffering from amnesia because of the accident that happened to him a year ago. One day after school, Mina covertly follows Akira as he makes his way home. Akira manages to catch Mina without realizing why she is following him, but when he pulls her, he experiences a brief flashback of some of his memories, which gives him a severe headache. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Mina runs away. Later, after Akira recovers, he runs across Mina again in front of a billboard. Mina's presence makes Akira uncomfortable since he encounters a vampire for the first time ever. Akira demands Mina reveal her motive behind following him, but before she says anything, they get attacked by an air raid. Akira unintentionally saves Mina, but when the air attack continues, Akira holds Mina and runs for their life. Both manage to escape the attack, and Mina discloses that the attack was intended to kill her since many people do not accept her and Vampire Bund in their country. While they are hiding, Mina informs Akira that her light-blocking gel is losing its effect, resulting in her burning into ashes as soon as she goes out in the sun. In order to go back to Vampire Bund without being burned, Mina pledges to Akira to put the gel on her. Suddenly, they get interrupted by 2 assassins disguised as police who previously attacked them. The intruders come to kill Mina, but Mina manages to defeat them with her skillful moves. After defeating the attackers, Mina feeds on one of the attackers' blood by inserting her fangs into her neck. After everything settles down, Mina bids Akira farewell in order to return to the Vampire Bund. Just as Mina is about to leave, a spider vampire, Tsuchigumo, arrives out of nowhere and starts assaulting her and Akira. Tsuchigumo traps Mina in a spider thread on the giant tower and carries Akira to hit him on the wall and ground. After beating and tormenting him, when Tsuchigumo throws Akira from the tower, Mina cries in agony for Akira, which causes Akira to recall the section of his memory where he promised Mina that he would always protect her. After falling on the ground, Akira manages to survive as it reveals that he is a werewolf of the Earth clan who took the oath to protect Mina at all costs. Tsuchigumo remains horrific to see Akira, a werewolf, and attacks with his threads, but Akira manages to dodge all the attacks and ultimately kills Tsuchigumo with his sharp blow. He then rushes to catch Mina as she falls from the tower. After saving Mina, Akira gets unconscious, and when he comes to his senses, he finds himself sleeping with Mina at her place. Mina also wakes up and asks Akira about his name and identity, which Akira lost a year ago. However, last night's incident restores Akira's portion of memory, and knowing that makes Mina really happy. Soon after, Mina's maids, Nelly, Nella, and Nero appear to help Mina and Akira get ready for school. When Mina changes into her school uniform, Akira remains shocked to find that Mina is joining his school. That day, vampires finally enter the human academy and begin making their way into the city. At school, Mina introduces herself as a new student and Akira as her slave. When Akira's friends and classmates come to know about his relationship with the vampire, they get against him and try to corner him, but Akira manages to run away. While lying on a bench, Akira thinks that he himself is unaware of the situation since he does not recall everything from the past. The only thing he remembers is giving an oath to his father to get stronger and protect Mina. In the meantime, students are gathered in the student council office, where the council president, Nanami, lectures students against vampires. Nanami is against Mina's admission to the school and wants to talk to the chairman about Mina's expulsion. When Mina is in the chairman's office with her maid Veratos, Nanami approaches there. Believing that Veratos is the chairperson, Nanami demands to throw Mina out of the academy and protect the academy from vampires. However, to Nanami's shock, Vera reveals that Mina is the real chairman of the academy. Even after knowing Mina's authority as chairman, Nanami refuses to accept her or any vampire in the school. To stand against Mina, Nanami announces to boycott classes, and in order to negotiate with academy authorities, she bribes students to capture Akira in exchange for club funds. After the announcement, chaos spread in the school, with students crazily running into the school to capture Akira. However, the situation becomes miserable for Akira, making him hide from every student. Meanwhile, at the business conference, Mina and Veratos with some renowned politicians are discussing the approval of the Special Zone Establishment Bill put up by the leader of an opposition union party, Hysterica. Their presentation illustrates how the government's debts have grown over time while its bond holdings have shrunk. Moreover, Mina also mentions Vampire's success by stating that the Vampire Corporation has made more money than the other represented corporations of the country. At school, and the student council enforcement finally captures Akira and corners him, another student, Mei Ren, uses a hard candy as a bullet to smash a window, distracting the student council and letting Akira escape. After helping Akira, Mei gives him his lost phone and leaves her contact details on it. Mina's business meeting ends well, and Akira also survives the student council enforcement attack. Back at Mina's place, Akira jokes that he had forgotten about his childhood promise to always defend Mina, much to her annoyance. Elsewhere, we see that some zombie vampires purposely attack Nanami and make her suffer a brutal vampire assault. Mina intends to represent vampires on a large scale, and for this cause, she plans to have a worldwide press conference. After setting the conference, when Mina has a hot water bath, Veratos informs her about Nanami's incident. However, it reveals to us that the vampire attack on Nanami was on Mina's order, and to keep this a secret, all of the evidence of the attack have been removed. But as Akira is friends with his schoolmates, Mina avoids revealing anything to him. All preparations for the conference are done, even the reporters are examined thoroughly for Mina's safety. Before the conference day, Juno, the head of the family that served Mina, shows up. Juno looks down on werewolves and pledges Mina to let him handle her security on the conference day. Mina agrees, and Juno, with his large security, enters the vampire bund. Finally, the conference day arrives, and Mina, under high security, appears in front of the worldwide media. In a flashback, Juno informs Mina that one of the precious bombs that vampires could only operate is missing. However, the thief vampire is his soldier, but because the soldier was newly recruited, they could not know anything about him. Now, when the bomb is missing and there are security threats, Juno wants Mina to delay the conference, but she remains persistent in her words and denies delaying it. In the present, outside the conference hall, Akira smells light-blocking gel worn by reporter Nicole. It immediately alerts him since no vampires are allowed in the conference, and the person wearing the light-blocking gel must be a vampire. Akira quickly contacts Juno and informs him of the situation. Meantime, when Akira and Veratos are rushing towards the conference hall to capture the intruder, Veratos receives a call where it reveals that before the conference, Nicole was attacked by a vampire, and some of her body organs were also removed, which means Nicole's body was torn to fit a bomb inside her. Nicole was turned into a vampire to reach Mina and kill her with a self-destruction bomb attack. Just when Nicole tries to attack Mina, Akira stops her and Veratos stabs her in her chest, setting Nicole's body on fire. However, they remain in shock to find that the bomb is already activated. Akira needs to defuse the bomb, but when he fails to defuse it, Akira tosses the bomb into a jammed elevator shaft, which results in a mild explosion. The threat to Mina's life ends, but whether they believe it or not, the whole city sees the news conference's incident as proof of vampires' existence. At the end, the conference turned out to be a success for Mina since the bill was finally considered by authorities. The following day, Mina attends the school as a mere student, but the fact that Akira is Mina's servant and that she is a vampire princess continues to perplex the academy students. Even in the cooking class, students intend to stay away from Mina. Seeing this, Yuki, Akira's best friend and lover, offers to help her in the food lesson and pair up with her. Yuki teaches Mina Akira's favorite dish, an omelette, and after the classes, both go to serve Akira. While Akira enjoys the omelette, Mina receives a call and turns on the television broadcast just to learn that the Prime Minister Mizoguchi opposes the Special Zone Establishment Bill and wishes to dissolve the assembly. Mina has to leave for a talk with the Prime Minister, but before she leaves, Yuki finds that Mina is wearing the ring she gave Akira as a present. But Mina bluntly says that Akira just exists to protect and serve her, regardless of how he felt about Yuki. At school, when some students bully weak classmates, Akira saves them, but soon Kuze appears and shows Akira Nanami's assaulted photos, confirming the rumors about Nanami being attacked by vampires, holding Mina to be the culprit. The news really shocks Akira. After school at night, when Akira thanks Yuki for helping Mina in the food class, they are suddenly attacked by zombie vampires, surprisingly wearing the same school uniform as them. Meanwhile, Mina visits the Prime Minister in an effort to persuade him to change his mind about opposing the Special Zone Establishment Bill, but she remains unsuccessful. It begins raining and zombie vampires continue their attack. As the vampires beat Akira mercilessly, Mayren intervenes at the last second to save them. Yuki and Akira run away for their lives and go to dry their clothes inside the school. While changing, Akira claims that after meeting Mina, his memories begin to return, although Yuki acknowledges that she saw the two before they were first attacked and Akira saved Mina. The Prime Minister's grandson was later found to have been kidnapped by Mina after he refused to negotiate with her. Elsewhere at the school, after drying the clothes when Akira leaves to go back home, Mei approaches him and for the first time introduces herself as the person responsible for protecting the lineage of vampires. She also reveals that Mina planned the recent assaults on her in an effort to convince him to act as her sole defender, leading Akira to begin questioning and mistrusting Mina. Akira remains perplexed and goes back to Mina's place in this state, but soon after arriving there, he remains in shock to learn that Mina has kidnapped the kid in return for Prime Minister's resignation because he is stopping the law from passing. Mina's this act makes Akira question her promise and beliefs. The following day, the news of last night's zombie vampire attack on Yuki spreads throughout the school. Hikosaka, a bullied student at the academy, stands responsible for news of vampires' entrance into the academy. After hearing the news, strong students of the school approach Hikosaka and again bully him into stopping spreading such news, but to their dismay this time, Hikosaka does not get afraid of them, but rather attacks them with immense strength. It then reveals that Hikosaka was turned into a vampire, willingly wanting to run away from bullying. He does not control himself and moves near Yuki to attack her, just to experience the delight of strength. As soon as Hikosaka takes his move, Akira arrives just in time to use his elbow and remove one of Hikosaka's fangs. But before Akira has an opportunity to find out who transformed Hikosaka into a vampire, he runs away. Later, in rage, Akira confronts Mina about the kidnapping of the Prime Minister's grandson and the vampire infiltration of the school. However, Mina declares that she is only responsible for the abduction, but does not know anything about the entrance of vampires into the school. Because of Mina's threats, Mizoguchi announced his early resignation as Prime Minister, which finally resulted in the passing of the long-awaited bill. Later, Akira, upset by Mina's intentional assault on Nanami, gathers the student council in the chapel to devise a plan and exterminate the vampires from the campus. However, in order to battle with the vampires when students do not have any weapons, Akira decides to bring fighting tools, but before he departs, Yuki gathers the courage and finally inquires him about the ring she gave him. Akira claims that he lost it, denying that he gave it to Mina, and also states that despite losing the ring, he still values their friendship. Akira's words make Yuki relieved since she considers him more than a friend. After Akira leaves, they hear Nanami's voice from behind the front door when the student council is inside the church. Yuki warns students not to open the door since it could be the vampires' plan to trick them with Nanami's voice and assault them, but the student council does not listen to her and opens the door. As soon as the door opens, everyone remains in shock to find that Nanami is turned into a vampire and is here with other vampires to finally torture and kill the students, preventing the vampires' entrance into the academy. Elsewhere, Akira, after gathering weapons to fight against vampires, is on his way back to the chapel, but he gets stopped by Alphonse, the person responsible for vampires' secret missions. There, Alphonse reveals that he was the one who proposed the kidnapping of the child to get the law passed. Just when both are talking, Alphonse receives the information about the vampires' sudden attack on the academy students. Akira, along with Alphonse and his father, Regendorf, immediately leave for the chapel. On the way, they both advise Akira that in order to save the student council, he must be prepared to put his life in danger. Meantime, inside the chapel, vampires have already entered inside and begun sucking on the blood of innocent students. But before Nanami tries to bite Yuki, Mina enters the chapel. Regendorf and Alphonse explain that the purpose of all previous vampire attacks was to draw out the Vampire Society's enemies, a terrorist group by the name of Telomere. Inside the chapel, as soon as Mina enters there, Jean, a renowned vampire, introduces himself and his purpose behind attacks to eliminate humanity and rule the world. When Jean reveals his previous acts of making Mizoguchi disband the assembly and convert many of the students into vampires, it makes Mina extremely unhappy, and enraged, she slices a sword through his face. Mina preferred to be a part of the world rather than try to rule it. But because Jean opposes Mina's ideology of living alongside humans, he gets furious and changes into his real vampire form. Mina cuts off his arm, but Takashi, a human ally of Jean's, catches Mina off guard, and Jean manages to seize her. When Takashi swings his sword at Mina, Yuki comes forward and tries to protect her. Just the moment Takashi's sword is about to tear Yuki apart, Akira enters the chapel and diverts him. He then rips Jin's heart out, which makes him disappear. Veratos also shows up at the chapel with soldiers to help the victims. Once everyone is gone, Mina and Akira challenge one another to a battle to the death. They both change into their full forms and fight, but when the battle turns the chapel into rubble, Akira gives his life to save Mina from a falling rosary. After the battle, injured Akira plagues to protect and serve Mina no matter the situation. Finally, the Special Zone Establishment Bill is approved and Mina knights Akira, elevating him to the rank of the best fighter. A month passes and everything settles in the country. However, even if the situation at the academy seems to have calmed down, the students still bear significant physical and psychological wounds that have not yet fully recovered. Yuki, now Mina's friend, enters the office to present her rough copy of the invitation to the student council officers while noticing Mina's contradictory personality traits of selflessness and selfishness. Meanwhile, when no one is inside the classroom, Mei keeps her cover personality and shows up in front of Akira again. She pulls Akira over her to the floor of a classroom, where Akira notices that she is wearing a replica necklace because the real one belonged to someone special. Meantime, Yuki forgets her notebook in the classroom and dashes to retrieve it, but when she returns to the office, she discovers Mina reading her journal. Mina apologizes for reading it, but she finds what Yuki wrote to be rather intriguing. Along with her confession of jealousy for Yuki, Mina expresses regret for lying about the ring Yuki gave to Akira. In another scene, Veratos, after saving Yuzuru, Nanami's neighbor and her lover from a self-destructing rogue vampire, discovers that Yuzuru is looking for her inside the vampire Bund. Veratos informs Mina that some vampires are leaving Vampire Bund at night. In order to confirm the news, Mina and Akira go for a round at night, and to their surprise, they find Nanami out there. When Nanami does not listen to Mina and runs away, Akira and Mina chase her. And while following, when they reach a wilderness, Hysterica, a member of Telomere, appears and rapidly surrounds them with her vampire soldiers. On Hysterica's order, when vampires move forwards to attack them, Regendorf's Beowulf Elite 8 appears there. Wolf boys show their loyalty and battle the vampires for Mina's protection. Mina finally gets able to have the upper hand on Hysterica, but before she defeats her, Nanami enters the fight and prevents Mina from attacking her. After stopping Mina, she immediately runs away in fear of being captured by her. Because of Nanami, Hysterica catches Mina off guard and comes with her move to attack her, but Veratos approaches and engages in a battle against Hysterica, with the two speaking of their past. Meantime, Yuzuru sneaks away from Yuki to find Nanami, who is now overwhelmed by her feelings for him and pleading with Mina for her death. Nanami hated Mina because she made her a vampire and turned her into something that her loved ones didn't like. Yuzuru finds Nanami and tries to come closer, but before he takes a step, Hysterica suddenly bashes him aside and takes Nanami to escape from the scene. After Hysterica departs, she leaves Mina, Akira, and Veratos to wonder what she is planning to do to the human race. Later, Mina and her people work to find the reason behind Hysterica's sudden appearance. Soon, they discover that the vampire army of Hysterica has capsules called Agni's blood implanted in them that cause them to carry out suicide bombs at underground subway stations by using cell phones. When Yuzuru is in Veratos' care, he inquires Veratos about her journey after turning into a vampire, to which Veratos explains she turned into a vampire because of her deep affiliation with Mina's mother, Queen Lucretia. Mina devises a plan and invites Hysterica to a building top for some negotiation. But when Hysterica arrives there, Veratos activates a bomb, causing the building to collapse and Hysterica to fall down inside the tower. While falling, Hysterica drops her phone and Mina attempts to recover it, but remains unsuccessful. Once Hysterica is underground, Mina discloses that the building is protected from large-scale jammers using signal suppression technology, which means she cannot activate suicide attacks in the city with her cell phone. In order to move on with the plan, helpless Hysterica commands frail Nanami to climb to the building's roof and start the cell phone signal. After knowing that Nanami has an obsession with him, Yuzuru rushes to stop her. Meantime, at the subway, Akira discovers depressed Hikosaka with a smartphone and follows him. Akira keeps on trying to convince Hikosaka not to activate the bomb, but Hikosaka decides to end his life, resulting in the train blowing up and Akira weeping over his loss. Hysterica manages to climb up the building, and there she finds Nanami in her way. She attempts to kill Nanami and Yuzuru by destroying the bridge above, but Mina transforms into her real vampire body and prevents the two from falling to the earth below. Hysterica initially does not understand why Nanami went against her master, but soon she realizes that the dagger used to stab Nanami was actually made of Mina's blood, making her Nanami's boss. By availing the situation to eliminate Hysterica, Veratos sprays Agni's blood into the hole Nanami made in Hysterica's chest with a knife and burns Hysterica to ashes. Hysterica's chapter closes for always, and the ideology of making humanity fear vampires also diminishes. When everything settles, Yuzuru chooses to turn into a vampire in order to be by Nanami's side, even if Nanami is ordered to work for Mina. After the danger fades away, Akira covertly spends the day with a flirty Mei-Ren, while Mina, Yuki, Veratos, Nanami, and Yuzuru spend the day swimming in the estate's indoor pool. Later, as they stroll through a garden, Akira spots flowers that only blossom at night, and after watching the flowers, Mei-Ren recounts the sorrowful tale of a butterfly that was captivated by the flower until its death. The moral of the story is that a butterfly cannot form an emotional connection with a flower. While the girls are having fun at the pool, Veratos receives a call alerting her of the sudden approaching of 3 ships at the Vampire Bund. Mei-Ren claims that the goal of her time with Akira was to evaluate both his present and lost memories. Mina instructs Yuki not to inform Akira of the 3 clans' sudden arrival, but she does so. Rosamund, Ivanovic, and Lai, who are leading the 3 clans, dispute the Vampire Bund's nobility during their visit. The only purpose of their visits to Mina is to force her to marry one of them. It is because to create an heir to the king, she is compelled to marry someone from her family. However, clan chiefs knew that Mina had feelings for Akira, so they put Akira's life in great danger by sending the assassins after him. The bet is that whichever assassin can murder Akira before dawn will have their respective leader picked as the husband-to-be. Another reason chiefs are against Akira is that they think of Akira's bloodline and lifespan to be distinct from Mina's, representing him as unfit for marriage. In order to determine if Mina is capable of bearing an heir to the kingdom or not, she must submit to an uncomfortable purity examination. In the meantime, Alphonse rescues Akira from the assassins and explains Mina's situation. Alphonse claims that Mina is now the 3 clans' vessel, and that Lucretia passed away at their hands. Akira decides to fight against assassins with all dedications, while Alphonse visits Mina to let her know that Akira is committed to eradicating all the assassins and that he needs her to be strong for him. As a result, Mina doubles the stakes of her bet with the 3 clans' chieftains and offers her life as security. Mina declares that she will be released from their wager if none of the assassins remain able to eliminate Akira. A tentacled armed assassin challenges Akira and asks whether he has witnessed the legacy of the genuine bloodline. The battle begins, but due to his current incapacity to transform, the werewolf endangers his life. Fortunately, Mei-Ren shows along and saves him, exposing herself in the process. Mei-Ren, after administering him a sedative mouth-to-mouth, professes her love for Akira and declares that the 2 of them belong together. Suddenly, they are attacked by an assassin. She defeats Mei-Ren and throws Akira and herself into a large hole. The assassin questions him about the genuine blood legacy once again while adopting Yuki's appearance. She then uses her arm to slash into his chest, briefly knocking him out. When he awakens, Mina is there, questioning him about the genuine blood legacy for the 3rd time. Akira becomes a werewolf in a fit of wrath and kills the assassin. Akira receives medical care at his center built under the Vampire Bund by the vampires without fangs. After receiving the treatment and getting well, he learns that the reason he was unable to change earlier was that Mei-Ren made him eat a hard candy that momentarily disables metamorphosis. However, what shocked him more was to know that the actual person working for Telomere was none other than Mei-Ren. All of Akira's memories, including the actual blood heritage memory, are restored, and Akira finally becomes the old Akira, who was born to serve Mina. Later, Regendorf and Alphonse disclose to Mina the horrific fact underlying the genuine blood legacy. It reveals that the actual blood lineage, whether vampires or monsters, can only be passed down by one of the 2 princesses who were discovered in a subterranean castle years ago. In order to protect identical princesses, the two beastly warriors spilled blood. After some time, Mei-Ren, a werecat, attacks Akira, leaving him with severe injuries. As they both fully transform into their monster form, Mei-Ren attacks again, nearly killing Akira. But after hearing Mina's voice, Akira doesn't give up and fights Mei-Ren with all of his remaining strength and determination, defeating Mei-Ren and Telomere. Also, after the assassins of the three clans' leaders remained unsuccessful in killing Akira, they ultimately swore an oath to Mina, freeing her from them. Soon after, Mina and Akira get back together on the estate, and Mina subsequently promises to stand by Akira's side forever. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more amazing recaps.